That's cool. That's very cool. Normal people.
It's been several days.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
haven't had internet here consistently.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was some. Hey, comfort knows it'll be there. As long.
That's good.
Reset the servers and everything.
That's funny.
He did say his name. I'm telling you about. Challenge.
Let's go.
Right, I'm calling the March Planning Board meeting to order. Um, First up, we have Stewart's Shop. Do we have anything new, Marcus, or?
No, no.
So we just, we have the resolution, right? We have nothing else to do on this.
That's a goal. Yeah.
Today is the 14th, right? 13th. Kate will be here shortly. It said you're gonna be a little late. Um, she's here. Should I already? Okay, we didn't miss anything because we're dealing with the internet's still out. No, so we're using just the recording program on the laptop. So it's not broadcasting. We'll upload it to YouTube later. Hopefully that works.
More confidence there, Mike.
Good. All right, so we're on Stewart's application here, and I'm going to read the resolution. We waived the public hearing last time. Town of Pine Plains Planning Board resolution approving the application of Stewart Shop Corporation for lot line adjustment / minor subdivision. Whereas Stewart Shop Corporation submitted an application to the planning board for lot line adjustment between parcel number 6871004433943 owned by Stewart Shops and the adjoining parcel number 6871007377906 owned by Dale Mitchell. And whereas the lot line adjustment proposes to add a 0.223 acre parcel from the Mitchell parcel and combine the same with Stewart parcel to create a new overall parcel of 1.729 acres. And whereas the purpose of the lot line adjustment is to provide additional acreage to locate the Stewart Shops property's septic system expansion area as required by the Dutchess County Department of Health. And whereas the application was reviewed and considered by the planning board, its engineer and attorney at the planning board's February 14th meeting, and whereas the planning board had reviewed the environmental impacts of the Stewart Shop expansion in conjunction with the previous application to the planning board, and reviewed the short form environmental assessment form in conjunction with this application, and determined that the lot line adjustment would not have the potential for any significant environmental impact so as to require a draft environmental impact statement. And whereas the planning board determined that based upon the nature of the application, the lot line adjustment would not require a public hearing, and therefore the planning board waived the requirement of the public hearing. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby approves the proposed lot line adjustment as depicted on the survey map boundary line adjustment prepared by Richard Paul Hanback, land surveyor, dated February 5th, 2024, and be it further resolved that Stewart Shops shall prepare and file a deed combining and merging the 0.223 acre parcel with the remaining parcel of Stewart Shops, subject to the approval of the attorney to the town, and upon such approval shall file the same in the Dutchess County clerk's office with proof of filing provided to the attorney to the town and the planning board chairman. And be it further resolved that all escrow fees for review of the application by the town engineer and attorney to the town and all filing and recreation fees be paid in full prior to signing of the subdivision map by the planning board chairman. Um, okay, so can I have a motion to accept this resolution as read?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote. Kate,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Ethan,
Yes.
Dick,
Aye.
Vicky's absent. Steve?
Yep. Yes.
So, Scott, because Vicky's absent, you'll be,
Oh, yes.
and I also vote aye. It was, the motion passes, the resolution passes by a vote of, so it should be 7, right? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, to 0. Mm, mm.
All right, thank you. How many copies would you like?
You want 2 for our file?
2 for your file, any Mylars, or
If one's a Mylar, that'd be nice. And then,
we'll check with the county, I might need a Mylar for them.
Yeah,
so
whatever
we can
they-
have some. Perfect, all right, thank you.
thank you. Is there any idea when you guys are gonna start? Or,
As of right now. Well, I'm probably telling you, no, I don't have it with me. Probably summertime.
summertime?
You know, depending on Dutchess County as far as how quickly they turn, you know, we've been dealing with them throughout this process with, you know, the assumption the soil investigation happens is consistent to what's we found before. We've been waiting for spring, obviously, to, you know, do any investigation. So we'll be out there next couple of weeks and then get their final sign off and building plans are in for review. So as soon as we get Dutchess County and building permit, we'll be ready to go.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Um. Next up is the American Legion / Tower Pizza. Who's gonna be speaking? Oh.
So for those of you that know me, my name is Marie Stewart. I'm the commander of the local American Legion post here in Pine Plains. Last May, Jeff from Tower Pizza and ourselves entered into an agreement for a formalized parking lot behind our building. We approached, well, I should say my father, who happens to also be George Keeler, and the chaplain of our post approached Mr. Spadil and at the time Drew Weeder and talked about whether or not we needed any special permits or anything. We were told we did not. We proceeded, it was done, everything was great, it's been working really well. And then in October, we got a letter from Drew saying that there had been some complaints and we needed to fill out this special permit. I understand there may be an issue with lighting, which I completely agree with and we are willing to address. I hooked up with Ed as soon as I possibly could. I spoke to Drew, but he was on his way out. So then I hooked up with Ed and here we are. I filled out the application and here we are.
Okay. Yeah. Just to correct the record, right, George? You came to me you talked to me at some function in the middle of town, right? You mentioned that we put it. Yeah, it was or so yeah somewhere.
Coming out.
Yeah, and what I said was I don't think there'll be a problem, but you have to talk to Drew and he might have to talk to the engineer. Okay, just so we're clear on what I said. And I don't know, Drew, and my communications with Drew at first, he thought it wouldn't be a problem, but then when he talked to George, not here too. Oh. The engineer said that that it is considered an impervious surface because once the gravel is driven on, multiple times, it then becomes impervious to water, and therefore drainage should be looked at, etc. So, and that's what facilitated that so it necessitated the Drew coming and talk to you guys and make sure, especially with the neighbor close behind there. I don't know the gentleman's name.
Mr. Benson.
Ben. Okay. So so that's what
I
happened.
would like to defer to Wesley because we did consult with him regarding that very thing before we even started on it.
Who is him?
Hello, everybody. How are you?
You consulted with Wes. Mhm.
So I got the phone call, and what we want to do is obviously do a site plan approval, make everybody happy, take care of any issues that might be. Obviously, I think the real issue is that a couple complaints came in, and the real issue is those people that complain need to have a voice in the community. So totally suspecting that we're having a public hearing of some sort.
Well,
for a site plan
also
approval.
we don't, just because the Legion's involved, it's not like we're gonna, because obviously we hold anyone to the same standards, right? So we're not gonna.
Um, I think the confusion is if you read the zoning, a change of use as it's defined, it could be defined as a parking lot is adding to a change. It could perceive that it's not. As I look at it, it can go either way. But there's no need if somebody's complaining. What we need to do is deal with those complaints, deal with any public safety issues that might arise because of what they've done. Um, I think that, obviously, if you look at the parking in the center of town, there's not very much parking. So any off the street parking helps our community or town. Even if we look at our comprehensive plan that we updated in 2019 was discussed in there. So they went about it the right way, and we're here in front of you to kind of do it. So pretty much, you can see behind the American Legion, you have a blacktop area that was existing. That was there when I was in preschool. They used to have preschool there. They had the jungle gym on top of it. Al, you probably swung on that a couple times. So what they did was they utilized that blacktop parking area, added the gravel, which you see around it, and created so they can get quite a few more spaces in there. Now, what I can say is, like we've talked about, the Pine Plains has some of the best drainage soil in the county. One of the things that was brought to my attention was there was pooling water because of the impervious soil in between the edge of the gravel that they had put down and the Benson's property. I've gone after multiple rainfalls over there to look at it myself, and I've not seen any pooling there, even in the most torrential falls. I can tell you that that space in between the fence line and there is about 2.5 feet, and the percolation rate of those soils is as good as it gets at anything. It's bank run gravel right underneath the grass. Willing to deal with any issues that you might have. I thought it would probably be good to go through the zoning of the site plan approvals and take a look at the exact things that are required and talk about the waiver processes. I mean, one thing that I feel like is we don't want to make it, we don't we don't want to make it so difficult for them to improve the property. One of the things that we talked about in the comprehensive plan in 2019 was to try to make it a little easier for owners and businesses to be able to improve their property without adding so many regulations and so many things that it causes a difficulty to them to be able to do that. So with that, I'd answer any questions you have, and then maybe we can go over the site plan process and requirements together.
And so this area will only be used for parking?
That's
Or
what it's currently being used for now. We've entered into an agreement with Jeff from Tower Pizza. In the event that the American Legion or the VFW have any kind of event, and we do a lot of those, barbecues, whatnot, a lot of it we do in conjunction with Jeff. So we can use the property at any time we want. He has put a fence to prevent people from driving over our septic or our lawn. So far, it's been working really well. It's been great. Community Day, it was a real big hit because people were able to park there. Tents were back over there. it's taken some of the volume off the street. And I've seen nothing and heard nothing. As you know, I work across the street at the Statistics Center. I see people using it. They're coming and going. It's taking some of that volume off the street. So
Did people actually complain to us, or are they just complaining?
So they complained to Drew, to us. Yeah. So,
Property owners over there.
yes. Well, I haven't personally spoken to this Mr. Benson person. I don't, obviously we haven't set a public hearing yet, so I don't know if he even knows about this meeting tonight. Yeah, you haven't talked to him about.
we have a very well, we did. I can't say recently. I haven't seen Mr. Benson, but until this, I mean, he wasn't thrilled the day we were doing it. He and I had a long talk. We figured out. I said, "This is a good thing, Mr. Benson." Mr. Benson also has some issues with the music in town and this and that. He lives in the center of town. And I told him that. I said, when you bought your house, all these things were here. Okay. I could, as Wes aptly, we were talking earlier, you know, if I didn't put a parking lot there, I could aptly put up a basketball court and lots of lights and have that for the kids. And I'd be within my rights to do that. But instead, we provided something that we thought would be better for everyone all around. And so far, to my knowledge, it has. I'm willing to make concessions to do it, to make the town happy, obviously. But at this point, you know, I mean, 6 months elapsed after the time we did it before we got our letter, a minimum of 6 months. So I said to Drew, I was like, what happened in those 6 months? We talked to you. This seemed to be a done deal. Well, then apparently complaints had come in and whatnot. So that's what's triggered this. So we're here to address any concerns, any issues, try to make it right.
Well, yeah, I think he was. Well, as far as I knew, he was reaching out to you before the 6 months, but like then had sent a letter when he didn't get a response. But whatever, we don't need to. It is what it is. So it's there also. So, as far I wish George was
Yeah, I
here. I don't know what happened to him. So we probably need him to go visit there.
Be happy to.
And have him look at it and see what's what. What were you mentioning about lighting?
I was told that lighting was an issue, that people wanted it
More lighting, or there
more
is
lighting, that it needed more lighting. That's what Drew said. It just needed more lighting.
Is there lighting? Did you guys put in lighting for this, or
No.
it's just whatever is coming from the garden, the string light?
The pollution in town.
Are there any lights along that fence from the garden, or just inside the garden?
Inside the garden.
So in your opinion, is it dark in that? Well, I mean, that would be more, if you don't want lights. I mean,
I feel like it's safe to walk out to your car. It's not so dark that you're going to trip over it.
There's street lights, there's ambient lights from yeah.
Warren, if they didn't want lights, I mean, we don't have to make them put in lights, right? That's between them and their insurance company, right? Like,
Well, it's a parking area where people are going to be walking at night. I think for safety purposes, there should be some lighting. So
and that's our,
We have to mandate that.
we have to mandate it.
If somebody breaks their ankle, that's their insurance, that's their liability.
I would give that to George to take a look at it, see what he thinks.
My question is, who does this go to? Department of Transportation wise, does it go to the county because the Legion building's on a county road? But their access is off of the Tower driveway, that's a
Correct.
state road.
But
This
it's
has now
not-
changed the use.
We were told by Drew it didn't need to go to either because this driveway was off of that driveway. It is not coming off a state or a county road. It's coming off a existing parking lot. That's what we were told.
I'd like consultation from George on that, because I don't buy that. Personally. Because you're entering off of a state road to access it.
No, you're not.
Actually going from parking lot to parking lot.
I get what Stacy's saying, but
Warren, any comment on that?
Yeah, I think you have to at least get a sign off of the DOT that they don't have jurisdiction over it.
Because even though you're accessing parking lot to parking lot, inevitably, due to accessing from parking lot to parking lot, you're accessing from road to the first parking lot.
I'm sure George will raise that issue.
So we have George look at it and then is there gonna have to be a public hearing? Or George would say whether there has to be a public.
No, we say it's a public hearing. What would be, this would be, what is this one? What is it?
Well, I guess
Is this
site plan approval, I mean, so the Legion is putting their parking lot on somebody else's property, right?
No. It's the parking lot going on the Legion's property and they're leasing it to Jeff to use for Tower Pizza.
Oh, okay, so there'll need to be some sort of maintenance agreement between the two properties.
We already have that. We went to an attorney and we have a formal agreement.
Yeah, I'd have to review that, make sure.
I can get you that.
And what about a public hear? Well, I really want to hear from this person, so,
Absolutely.
Given that you had.
so we should have a public hearing. All right, so I could probably set it without, and then George can look at it in the meantime. All right, so can I have a motion to set a public, when's our next meeting? April 10th at, can I have a motion to have a public hearing on April 10th at 7:30 PM, please?
Motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
I think you have to send it to the E39M to county because you're en route. It's off route. On the main route.
Yeah,
83A.
And
but because of state, either way, you have to send it. And it's just a site plan to come under site. I wonder if this is, is it any of the exempt categories?
I'd have to look.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you got a typo, Wesley.
Oh, what'd I do?
You listed the road that the actual Legion is on as 199,
Look at that.
and the road over here is 199. Just FYI.
North Main Street is our.
Right.
It says North Main Street, but
At least,
the
I-
route- the route
at
is
least I
not.
didn't write South Main Street.
Yeah, no.
A double one. I'll get that fixed. I also left some room for some notes. I don't know if we want to brainstorm together. If you need anything on there.
Oh yeah, what are the requirements that you would think you would need a waiver for?
I mean, it's so flat. Let's just go through them. Number one, a vicinity map, which I have on there. Number two, an area map showing the subject property, all property, streets, right of ways, easements, other pertaining features within 200 feet of the boundaries of the subject property. So I didn't go 200 feet. 200 feet goes about 3 more lots down. I don't want to survey 15 lots here for the American Legion. So I figured what I have is pertaining to what's going on there for a parking lot. So if we could waive that, that would be great, which is number two. I have the title, North Arrow property boundaries, existing uses and structures, including approximate location of existing wells, septic systems, and utilities. I have the structures on there, but I do not know where all the septics are for Tower Pizza. I don't think it really matters. We know that the parking lot is not built on there. We know there's not a well on there.
What about the septic for the Legion?
Not underneath that parking lot.
It's in the lawn.
It's in the lawn.
On the east side of this.
Can we just get that indicated on
You
here?
can get that on there.
Yeah. I mean, we have the tower. They're probably driving over it now. so we, whatever. But like, we should find out where it is in relation to where the water is going, etc. On the Legion property.
Legion septic. Existing and proposed contours at 2-foot intervals, vegetation cover, surface resources. It's so flat that it doesn't really change. I would imagine the contours aren't needed. We could waive that.
That might be important for drainage. Even though it's mostly flat, just because it's mostly flat doesn't mean it's completely flat.
So if it doesn't change, if you're asking for 2 foot contours and the grade doesn't change by 2 foot, then there's only one line on there, which
Just
doesn't
put the grade on there.
pertain to anything. Now, I could do spot elevations if that's what you need. I just want you all
Well,
to
I think
realize.
I think that yeah, I think that we can wait till George says about that, and then if he needs that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Wilson.
Well, why don't you submit a list of what you want waivers for, and then you can send that to George so that he'll have it in front of him.
Yeah, but I want to keep going through it though. I want to just so I have in my mind.
I think important to everybody be on the same page since we're all here.
But yeah, and then you'll do a list to follow up, make sure I'm writing them down. But
Size, design, construction of an exterior dimension of all proposed principal and accessory buildings and structures. Do you need to know the gross foot area of every building in there to? Okay, so we can waive that.
No.
Required parking space calculation. The business already exists. We're creating more, so we think that we can waive that.
150 square feet.
Sidewalks I have, pedestrian accesses, outdoor storage and solid waste facilities. I could put on a dumpster if you'd like to see that. Or we can waive that.
It's on towers a lot, right? Like, I don't know. Is it important?
Doesn't pertain to
No.
to this property.
Yeah. Descriptions of any hazardous material, there are none, so that's covered. Utilities including sewage disposal, communication, energy infrastructure such as gas, oil, propane storage or lines, electrical lines, solar panels, water lines, septic systems, cables, drains, culverts. I would think that with just the Legion's SDS, we could waive the rest of those.
I'd want to know if there's anything in this area here, though.
Okay.
Right where we're driving now.
What are you saying here?
Yeah, where the opening is.
I got
You know?
There was only a fence there, and then there was a couple of shrubs that they tore out, but there's no
So no,
electric or lines in the ground or.
tanks, I assume, would be next.
There are. I'd imagine, because I remember when they redid the septic that there's galleys that go all the way like that, but nothing that's going to be pertaining right there.
People already drive around, horse.
It was designed for that. Water supply, including demand calculation, design, and construction materials.
We don't need.
Fire lane and other emergency zones, including location of fire hydrants where applicable.
No, that might be important if you had a car fire. Well, there's no is there hydrants in? I guess we do have hydrants downtown, right?
No hydrants right in the area. The poles are shown. The catch basins are shown.
And they can run a bumper line from the curb. That's
Right. So we don't have to worry about. Are you done?
You go.
So
Are we gonna get a waiver on that or?
Yeah, we'll waive the hydrants.
Signs including height, size, height, design, lighting, material specifications.
Was there any signs added?
Just the monument for the veterans that they have there next to the cannon on the.
No, I mean for the parking area.
No.
There's no like parking. No, we don't. If there's no signs, don't worry about it. No signs are in. Lighting, obviously, we want to see.
Landscape planning schedule,
you-
including location and development of all proposed screening areas where directed by the planning board, mature trees in excess of 12 inches. DBH shall be surveyed and specimen of tree identified.
Well, we have to see what happens over here, right? If there's there's a fence here. How tall is this fence?
It's tall.
6 foot.
6 foot.
And that's Mr. Benson's fence?
His problem.
Okay.
And all the
So-
trees are on
so-
Mr. Benson's property.
Right, that might only just come an issue for some reason. I don't anticipate it, but we're telling you to add screen, then we'd have it on, but otherwise, I don't think it's, right? You don't need to know about the screen, the shrubberies. Go ahead.
Lighting, including location and design specifications.
That in case, yeah, that will need if there's anything being added. We'll have to see. So, that's a maybe.
That's the main one.
That's a maybe.
That's
If
a
we end up, if we end up having to add lighting, we're gonna need to know the cut sheets and all that stuff.
Okay.
Where they are, make sure they have to be downcast and, we know the lighting drill.
Other
Under
additional
3,000 Kelvin.
I'm sorry, additional requirements, identification of all federal, state, and local agency permits, status and applications, which we're gonna
DOT.
do with the
And
DOT. The applicant, varies from property owner, a consent affidavit, blah, 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 this doesn't, construction schedule. Other site plan specifications is required by the planning board, any that you wanna specify.
well, again, that would depend on once George looks at it.
It's George.
And what about us going to look at it?
At any point.
That's fine. We just show up and okay.
If you look at it on Friday nights,
Friday afternoon.
That's
Well,
when you get a free drink, but.
No.
you said
I
what?
wasn't even suggesting that.
Um,
Go there.
building out elevations and or sections illustrating front, rear, side profiles, elevations and sections may be scaled and shall be illustrate
No,
the height.
no. You might want to have a picture of the fence for the next, such, somebody, if he comes here, just bring a picture exhibit, the,
fence.
of that guy's.
No,
So when we have the public hearing, let's
Yeah.
see a picture of the fence in case that's an issue. Oh, but I'm gonna have headlights coming in my window, etc. And then we have a picture like this is what's there, like.
Now, the one thing that was brought up, but that's all of those. The one thing that was brought up that I think that should be a note on there, that was brought up to me was that, Jeff had asked the person that plows the driveway not to plow the snow to the far north end of the gravel parking lot, which would be a pile of snow along the fence. So it might be good for me to put a note that all snow plow will not be pushed to the north end of the property to prevent any type of
Problem with the fence.
Belt onto.
and that could stop the water from.
Is there
draining.
any sort of berm down that end, or just ends like flat?
Just ends and then fades back down into the virgin grade.
Full disclosure, I plow it, Jeff.
Okay.
But that's the first thing he said, don't put any, don't cause any water to you get suffer.
All right. All right. So that's it as far as waivers I'm concerned, and we set the public hearing. So we'll get George over there. We'll get Mosley on down there when we can, and see you next month.
Thank you.
Let's wait.
Easy.
Let's send the speakers.
Yes.
And do like Warren said, if you could send that list. I wrote it down, but just add what you're actually asking for. Yeah, we a list saying we're asking for these waivers, and then we might edit it, but
Sure. I don't want.
Well, thank you, everybody.
man.
You got one?
Now you can do that.
Please, Juan, may I make a statement? I want to answer to that. So I make a statement. That's on the subject of lighting.
Yes.
Why don't we require lighting behind the Stissing House? Because that parking lot with those hundreds, almost on weekends, of cars jammed in there is darker than the inside of a Holstein cow.
Well, we're waiting to. They actually put in lights and without coming to us, and we're waiting to hear from them. Right, Eddie?
It's still dark.
They said they were coming in. No, I had to get back in touch with them. They haven't followed up.
Okay. So we're working on it.
Is there anything that can be done at any level in town government
Okay.
with the drainage condition by the Mexican restaurant and that entrance into, along the town clock, there's a puddle out there. You can take a swim in if you want to.
This is
Nobody
on,
seems to be able to.
this is on their property?
No, it's on state property. It's in the state right of way.
So
I
that's,
mean, all you gotta do is when you leave here, just go down there and look, because I was by it today. There's a nice big puddle there. And it's
so
an
that's
axle snap.
for the town board to talk to the state, George. I mean, I don't
2
know.
months ago they were gonna do it, and I haven't heard nothing. So maybe, since
We have 2 town board members here right now, so they can relay.
got you hear anything?
We don't need 'em.
Don't need them, but.
But I can tell you what I've heard dealing with the state to try to get them to do anything
Yeah.
is an
I mean,
effort.
the drain in
Well,
front of the
no,
leach
yeah,
is crazy.
Memorial Day, somebody's like stepping
That's
that,
not my
that
property.
hole. And that's on
But it's on that house,
Yeah.
and that's web traps.
But I understand it's a state right of way, and God forbid if you touch it, but something should be done.
I saw that a letter went out, today or yesterday from Stanfordville about the condition of the road. Because
From here to Washington Hollow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's how bad that is. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Would cause trouble for us.
I ain't coming to see you.
Got your call on that.
You?
Okay.
And it's just that windy.
Once we have Warren back. The next thing up is a Cicchetti Slaughterhouse. Who's here?
Oh, fight, where do you want me to go?
That's fine, right there. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm falling a little short. Matt and his father Peter could make it tonight, so they asked me to come. So I'll do the best I can to answer this, but it might be a little short of information. But essentially, they have a farm on 199, and together with the Sugar Hill Farm, they want to put in a slaughterhouse.
And you are, who are you?
Alex Farina,
And how are you related to the project?
Matt's lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Kind of called me last minute. Can I go to here? Okay, fine. So you have an application. I have full-size drawings of the sketch that was attached to the application if you want to see them. And I guess for site plan review, and asking for a special use permit, it's they want to put in, so, another building, probably a two-bedroom building, set far, very far back in 199, all that stuff. To help service, their farm and the Sugar Hill Farm, they raise cattle, Sugar Hill has cows. Putting an agricultural use, I guess, first issue that I was kind of looking at this stuff is, so that if I had looking earlier, you had an exception in your site plan requirements for agricultural structures, and this might qualify as an agricultural structure.
Here's the difference. Is he going to be slaughtering any animals that are not his?
I was wondering.
Or-
That is not the present intention. I suppose if you wanted to make it a condition of the.
Well, but then but that's where you go. The difference of going to ag and markets or
Yeah.
coming to us,
Okay.
right? Is if correct, Warren? Am I stating that properly? If he's slaughtering their own animals, then it's ag and markets. If they're going to open up for a service to the public,
Commercial.
then it's us. So if it's an ag and markets building, do it come to us at all, or is it?
Ag check it out.
Ag and markets.
We do have letters going from Gilbert Allen to Dutchess County with the support thing letter for this.
Right.
We just didn't get it.
So if you're going to be taking in other customers, then it's a commercial operation, and then you need a special use permit.
Well, we'll plan on that because, we gotta make it economical enough.
Oh, so you are okay. So then yes, then
Yeah.
all right. So then yes, so then you're in the right place. Okay.
What district is it in?
It's in the ag district,
In what?
in ag.
It's rural.
No, it went.
It's rural.
The world, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
It's
that's
an agricultural.
if it's qualified agricultural operation, might be permitted. You may not even need a permit, but you would need a building permit for the building.
Warren, even if they're taking other customers,
Well, if you're taking other customers.
that's what they're planning on.
Oh, I thought you said no.
They- he misspoke. Jack corrected him.
Probably better to apply for what you want to use it for.
Yes, 100%, 100%. So that issue being out of the way, I guess where we're at is just the sketch plan submission phase. And so, this is an initial sketch plan. We're looking for the board's conceptual ideas or feedback or comments, about this plan. My understanding is that they're prepared to do what they have to do with DOT in terms of the driveway on Route 199. But I think the plan is pretty straightforward in terms of what they're planning to do. In terms of the special use permit, I think slaughterhouse isn't specifically defined in your zoning code. But I think probably it still would need, a special use permit, but there certainly weren't any of the special use, all the extra requirements. Because it wasn't listed.
Eddie, where did you find it falling under?
Manufacturing.
Does not have like an agricultural like manufacturing, some agricultural processing use. How is that not in our like zone?
The ag and markets law defines what they consider agricultural, so.
I mean, I would still find out from Ag and Markets if it's something under there. I mean, we're under Ag and Markets.
I think it becomes, I think on this, it becomes if you are going out to other customers on this meat processing facility. If it was just our two farms doing it, I think it would totally fall under ag and we wouldn't have to go through all this, but we end up with a business.
Yeah, but we bottle other people's stuff. It's still considered a farming operation. I would just check. I don't know.
I'm sorry I didn't have it with me before I got here tonight, but again, short notice. But I'll certainly check it out and get back to you all as quickly as
And
possible.
maybe Matt checked into. I don't know.
He might have. He might have.
Where is the store? Is this
It's letter L, right? This L, the one with the L is
the L is with
Bonneville's house.
okay, and the store is where?
Like over
It's like
Oh.
107.
stop the map.
What are these numbers? What is that?
Jack and I were trying to. I don't know.
I've never seen. Have you guys seen that on a map?
Yeah.
They're all on the
Maybe
border.
no.
Yeah.
They had an emergency that couldn't be here, so we couldn't even ask Matt what it was.
These numbers on the map.
97 and 8 and
We had the same question again.
They identify whatever these markers are, because there's one in between each
Right.
mark.
I'm just trying to orient myself where.
Survey?
But then they
So
go
if you
up.
go by,
The store is like up here.
Storage here.
You know where there's like a sign that the market is coming up? It's like, that's where like the driveway
Where
is.
that is.
They might have marked that. So they might
In the
have-
red house, like here.
Yeah, maybe they tagged it there.
So, okay. And this is
back,
the
something.
the drain field location. That's the septic or whatever you're gonna need for. Right.
Yeah. He hasn't gotten an engineer.
Right.
But that's where you would do planning on putting it.
Your engineer would
Yeah,
probably ask for the more specifics. Do you have the proposed structure? Do you have any elevations or anything, or how tall it's going to be? And
For the slaughterhouse purposes, you need the height to hang animals.
Right.
So it'd probably be like a 20-foot ceiling and that.
okay, yeah. So we'll probably want to see some elevations on what that is. Is there any neighbors besides this house here?
Well, Kathleen Augustin's house is like just off the top of the map.
Okay.
I'm not pins are bigger.
Yeah, can you see her? Like,
It's gonna be 500 some feet back. That's hardly noticeable now, but we still plan on putting some trees and stuff up just to.
And what about in the back? Is this lower than those houses back here?
there's nothing straight behind this until it goes all the way to Prospect
But
Hill.
yeah,
But
this is
next
just
to
all on
Prospect
field.
Hill,
Hmm.
But Kathleen's
Kathleen's house is like
here and here.
Okay.
No, like over here, I thought.
I would say
they're sitting on the other side of the table.
he's looking at a
Oh,
different map.
oh, right, sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jack, do you know how many feet from the current farm road to where you propose the new entrance?
it's basically,
Roughly.
it's basically centered from the top of the hill to the corner.
Okay.
Is this road, you're gonna keep using this for some purposes, or is this,
That little dirt road that's there?
Yeah.
No, that'll be all gone.
so like could close that up or something? So you're gonna need a DOT permit, driveway permit, are you gonna put any signs out here?
Probably a small sign, nothing huge.
So we'll need it on the map and this, a drawing of it, how big it is and so.
Similar to the
I mean, no
one you have
bigger
for
than,
Sugar Hill sign.
what's that?
Same.
Probably a little bit bigger than that, I say, but, I don't know if you've ever been by Joe Malop, it's got a small little sign, I mean, it wouldn't probably be as big as my other sign.
And it's not gonna be like a store, you're just gonna.
No store on this, no retail on that.
Any lighting, any exterior lighting, we would need to be indicated on the map. We're just kind of, going through the thing. I mean, you kind of heard the list when we were doing the Legion thing, so it's all the site plan requirements, so.
Might need Department of Health approval too, I think.
Well, yeah, for the set. Yeah, yeah.
That's all being worked on.
All right, so as of right now, though, like, the sketch plan, we gotta get some of these details filled out, find out about the ag and markets
Yep.
thing. Did this go to George? I mean, it's kind of bare
Yeah, so
bones.
you should send it to
If it hasn't gone to George, let's make sure it went to George. He did. And then, obviously, there's more details that he's gonna ask for. And then, once we have a completed site plan, relatively complete, then we'll probably set a public hearing. And
Okay. How does George work? Will he send a memo or just give a call or I'm okay either way, but
as far as like what's needed.
yeah, whatever else he might keep. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what the list is in the code, but
Right.
whatever else he might.
Yeah, he'll make a memo for what he sees. But I mean, obviously, he's not much to work with right now.
Understand.
Okay.
General location though, I know you can't decide right now. Seems okay conceptually, like no major issues. I think that's what Matt's looking for right now.
So look, again, we're gonna have.
I haven't, but I've talked to some of the other ones around there, and nobody seems to, they understand that you need them.
There's a need, definite need for stores.
Yeah, so when we do the public hearing, they'll all get letters. We'll see if anyone has any issues as far as, I mean, I now have a general idea where it is. I mean, everyone else knows where it is, right? I mean, it seems probably okay, but obviously we'll see, nothing off the top of our heads, but comes up, and you never know. You never know.
Jack, can you mark where you're putting the driveway?
Yeah, there's a Sugar Hill Farm sign there.
Right.
The market sign, where the market sign is on between Bonneville's and that red house, it's right where that sign is.
Okay. Well, that's easy.
And
Give or take a few feet, but the telephone pole and stuff.
all right. So we have some things to get done, and then we'll see you next month, and then we'll just set a vote. We have our
If you get it.
right.
One year I lined my drawers with it.
So remember they cover the books? You can cover the-
Yeah, no, I see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Best of luck. See you all today.
So the February minutes.
Okay. I made the changes, but there was only.
Did I send something? Was that this month? I can't keep,
No.
or that was.
That was, I think it was.
Oh, okay. It's hard to keep track. Um, so can I have a motion to accept the February minute?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the February minutes has been accepted. Is there any new business or anything, Ed? Do you have anything for us? Nothing new? Trying to think, is there anyone besides Stissing house? We need to hear from them. I noticed that the Stissing Center turned the lights down and they're not on all the time, so that looks a lot better. The daycare, is that operating or what? They haven't come back.
She called one day about some minor thing, but she hasn't really been back with anything since June, really.
All right. I don't know. Does anyone else have any questions for Ed or any issues around?
If you can speak to the new owners of the car wash, they have a ribbon flag on the corner of the Pilch.
Okay.
It's been there since October. Between the job shift with you and Drew and new business, but now they're officially over the 30 days.
Okay.
About 4 months.
I mean, I hate to be a jerk, but like, what is our code about like flashing lights in like a business?
Look at the book. Yeah.
We don't even have it, or
I don't think I have to flashlight.
well, the taco place. I don't know. They're trying to drum up business. Obviously, I feel for a business that's trying to get attention, but it's like they had like some lights in the window, and then now there's like strobe lights and like all kinds of stuff happening. Like, yeah, so go check it out and see if that's within code.
I had dinner with Becky there, and I thought I was gonna seize it for a while.
Right. Okay, so it's not just me. So that's all right. So with that, Warren, is there anything you want to go over in open session first?
Yeah. Clear out the public.
Oh, okay, well then, all right. So, but nothing in open session we want to talk about. All right. So at this point, can I have we would like to retire into executive session for an attorney-client consultation regarding litigation regarding the solar application for Carson Power. We would like to invite in Ed and Kevin Walsh, the board member, town board member, and Janine Cisco, another town board member. So I have a motion.
You want Eddie?
I said it.
Oh. No. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Oh, and also, we're not coming back. Wait, we're not coming back to make any. We have no decisions to make. So, can I have a motion to once the executive session is complete? Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. So now we're going into executive